Hi guys, it's Angel
And Kelliena.
And today is November 9th, 2016.
It's gonna be a day a lot of people are gonna remember.
Yep, so I woke up at 2 a.m. and saw that Trump was leading in the polls and had a mini heart attack in the middle of the night and felt a little bit stressed out. But I kind of had an idea that was going to happen. We should talk about the astrological weather.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I want to talk about is on November 14th, we have a full moon in Taurus. So this full moon is going to be very important for Taurus, Scorpios, Leos, and Aquarius. What's significant about this moon is it's the closest it's been to the Earth since 1948. And what I think is important about this moon, and this is if you subscribe to the moon being a hologram, which Angel and I were sort of talking about before we filmed. So those who may not know about it, if you go to YouTube, there's a channel called Crow, CCROW 777, and he has a video called "The Moon Is Not What You Think." I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying there's something that maybe we should look into, because you'll see a line go through the moon. It's almost like the moon's being reset.
So the moon is a hologram.
That's what they think. That's the theory, is that the moon is maybe a machine or something going on, that what we see, that one side of the moon, is a projection. And if we go into history of like the moon, like tarot cards, like if you read old school interpretations of tarot, the moon is the illusion. It's about fake energy and stuff like that.
Interesting. I never actually heard that theory that the moon was a hologram, but I remember you mentioning something that it was placed in the universe to watch us or something.
That's
like that.
one. That's another. Another. You go to Linda Moulton Howe. She's a journalist, and she does different reports on what others have brought to her, their theories or their experiences, and so that's one that goes into it. Because there's a lot of questions. Like if you talk to astrophysics, astronomers, we'll edit that part out. So if we talk to astronomers, they question that. Why is the moon perfect? Like perfect between the Earth and the Sun, that it perfectly blocks out the Sun during an eclipse. So why is that? Why are we the only moon in the solar system that does that? Jupiter has 63 moons, and
none of them block the Sun.
Right. So there's a lot of questions. Mars has 2 moons, and so there's just a lot of things that our moon is really unique. Why doesn't it rotate? All the other bodies rotate. So there's a lot of things that we don't know. So it's just to question it why.
So how is that significant with Trump? It resetting yesterday evening, or last night, was it? Or
if I remember correctly, I believe it resets near the spring equinox 3 days before, that we'll see the lines go through. But I think it's significant with Trump where the moon is so close, where the moon has been so close, and that there's a change of it, like a big change for the world with Trump being in there.
So 1948, I'm just trying to think. I'm really poor at my history, but was there anything significant that happened the last time the moon was close to the Earth?
That year, not on top of my head, but I would say like it's right after World War II. Like, not to put negative energy, but just there was a reset like around that time, or years before the United Nations was established. Like there's things like that was going on. So and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying this is where my mind goes.
Right. So one of the things I was struggling with this morning was posting, I felt really angry, first of all, but at the same time I felt like, I didn't feel shocked, like everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so shocked, how could they vote Trump in? I was shocked he was running, so my shock kind of like, maybe it's, dumbed down over however long it's been, and I was also shocked to learn, I learned about the electoral process, which I was really shocked that, it's complete crap, like how people get elected in the first place and how undemocratic it is. So I can't say that I was shocked. I was slightly angry because I thought about my children and I thought about the world, the safety of the world and things like that. And then I thought, you know what? No, I'm not going to go into that fear-mongering crap. Like, everybody is going to go into that. So it's really a test of your willpower to stay positive, I think. Like, I'm generally a pretty positive person, but you can easily go down that road and start being like, he's going to destroy the world, he's going to start World War III, he's a misogynist, xenophobe, like, blah, blah, blah. I can go on, and you're always talking about all this negativity. And so I think that he does bring a valuable lesson to all of us of where the state of our mind is.
That's very wise. Agree.
you know, for him to even be running, Hillary to even be running against him, you know, like those are the two people you chose to lead your country.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, like, so why is that happening? And we can say as Canadians, oh, it doesn't affect us, but of course it does.
It does.
It affects the whole world, right?
Yeah, just even like just straight like basic economics and not even talking about the energy and.
Yeah, I thought of like this is going to really wake some people up, like the 56 million people that voted for him, if that's even the truth.
That I know I was going to bring that
So
up.
that's
like,
the other thing
that.
I thought of. I thought of like we are so innocent and naive to think that the democratic system is true. That we believe that our vote matters, when really, you know, I've been saying this since I was 17 years old, and not to age myself, but that was a long time ago, that there is no democracy. And I remember being laughed at in high school, like, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. You're too young to know what you're talking about. But I really think that it's a load of crap, and people like Trump getting voted in really places us in a position where we start to disbelieve in our own power.
I believe it was in the second debate too that Hillary, she started talking about how the Russians would hack the voting system and stuff like that. And even yesterday, what I was watching, I am a bit of a news junkie. They're reporting on the news that there were certain polling stations that they're reporting if you voted Republican, it would automatically go to Democrat. So and they said apparently they fixed it, and it was on video. I saw the video where they're trying, or what they presented to us. So that's another thing, because actually one thing, and this is just where my mind goes, because I'm also wondering, did they allow Trump to win? Because if he didn't, does he really have the power to cause chaos in America, where he was talking about contesting it and stuff? So that's one thing I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's bizarre, and like to find a place. I think it's important for people to find a place where they can just not be afraid.
Yeah.
Which is going to be hard for a lot of people. Like I was reading some posts, and there was a really innocent post by someone. They were like, "Is this going to affect my life?" Like it was so scared. They were so afraid, and I just think all of the people that will now line up to get their anxiety meds and line up to get their depression medications and just stay like asleep, really. And in fear. Not saying medication's a bad thing. I'm just saying that, you know, it doesn't put you in a place of power if you're always afraid. However you handle that, that's your thing. But it's just to see so many people, you become disempowered. To think that a man got voted in who hates on women so much is such a spit in the face to women. So I look at all the people that it kind of spits in the face to, like women, people that are working hard but aren't getting credibility for that because they might be of a different culture. It disempowers people that are already powerful. Like women are so powerful. But this is an insult, so it makes you feel like, you know, you've taken a step back.
It is, and I see what you're saying, but I also think too this is an opportunity where we can step up. I think that the negativity that's out there, it's like a bad boyfriend that keeps coming back. It's like it's easy to go back to him. Did that just stop?
No, it's still going.
So our job, or not our job, I think the lesson here is to really take back our power. I think it's something to say, okay, it's easy, because there is something seductive about negative. There's something seductive to focus on the negative and complain and do it, but it doesn't heal. It doesn't do anything.
No. And it keeps you with the same experience.
Exactly. Same thing, like my comparison with the bad boyfriend. It's like, it's easy to go back to that. You know what it is. You know what to expect. And that's what negativity is right now. We know what to expect. We want to complain. We want to focus on that. It takes, I think we're in a real moment where it takes real courage to say, no, this is not who we are. This is not... we need to heal this, we need to love. And I think the first thing that we need to do is we need to start going with the truth. Finding, ask questions, and I think we need to start with the media. Like the media is presenting things, we need to ask, is this true? What you're telling us, because there's a lot of, especially American news, there's a lot of negative with it and how they're presenting.
And it's spun to serve like the purposes of whoever pays the media.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that the viewers, it's on us to kind of question that. Okay, why is it okay for you to present this? I think that's one thing. And I think another thing just as equally as important is to stop feeding it. To stop like the post, like because Facebook blew up this morning, Twitter blew up this morning with the negativity. It was like, oh, okay. But that's where we are, and I think we need to break that energy to the negative energy, where it's just, like, just stop focusing on the negative and start questioning. Okay, what do we do with this?
Yep, exactly. Like yesterday, I realized midday that Trump was going to win. I just felt it in my gut. I felt like somebody kicked me in the stomach, and I recognized my own contribution to that disaster, that train wreck, all the negative energy I've ever sent to the United States, thinking, you know, they're rednecks and blah, blah. I could go on and on ever since 9/11 and hearing about all of the things that have been done by the government. So I actually apologized on my channel for contributing to that in any way. And I think that's a good place to start, is to recognize your own contribution to the negative collective consciousness. Because there is a collective negativity that we can feed or we can, you know, turn a cheek to.
Agree.
And with Trump, you know, sometimes that bad boyfriend teaches you how to love yourself.
That's true too. That's,
you know,
really...
to stand up and say, screw you, I'm not taking your crap anymore. And this is the same with Trump. You know, he might be all of the things that we don't want as a world leader, but now at least we can say that with absolute certainty. Like, this is not what we want. We don't want a reality television celebrity as the president of the United States. Like, my mother was American. She would just, she would be mortified that this guy even ran.
I really think, I made a post this morning on my group where I feel that Trump is a manifestation where it validates that America is in a state of dis-ease.
Yes.
This is something where America needs healing. They're divided. They're constantly divided. They're not taught you're together, you're apart. And diversity is a bad thing. It's just they're constantly bombarded with that information. So I think Trump is that manifestation.
I mean, he didn't come out of nowhere.
No.
And if he really did get 56 million people, that is a lot of people voting him in. I can't, every part of me doesn't believe that he really won that election. Like, I really think Bernie won from day one.
Right, yeah.
And that scared whoever's really in control of the puppets that lead the country.
That's a really good point. That's a really good...
You know, and so they put these two people that there's no winning out of either party that got in would have lost.
Right.
For the country would have lost either way.
Right.
So to me, like, I was saying it for the last week, my husband's like, oh my God, I hope Hillary wins. I'm like, Hillary, Trump, there's no difference. It's the people behind them that's really running this train wreck. And
it's like a train wreck. Like, I do feel that Trump, this path is on. I think it's America crying for help. But I think it's also too them giving away, I don't want to say that, but I think it can be a sign that we're giving away our power when it should be, you know, this is our experience. We have a divine right to be happy. And I think that's what we need to get back to. It's like, okay, I'm responsible for my life. I'm not going to give my power to the government in the sense I'm going to be in this fear. It's like, okay, well, the government's supposed to work for the people. So that's, I think, not the other way around. Not the other way around. Because I think right now we're programmed to think, oh, well, the government, you know, we do what the government says. But it's supposed to be a democracy. It's supposed to be the government's supposed to hear the people.
This is true. And this is not what's being reflected in our democracies, even in Canada. I mean, I'm happy that Harper's no longer leading the country. I have, you know, I'm okay with Justin Trudeau right now, just because he's not a bigot, but at the same time, I know he's not totally for our environment, so I have issues with that.
The pipelines I'm not happy with him.
But I knew that before. I posted a video when he first got elected saying, I like everything about him in the fact that we're now not being led by a bigot, but he's not environmentally on the same page that he needs to be. So I knew that going in, that he's still, you know, he's still being fed by whoever runs those kind of systems. But astrologically, I want to do the astrological weather, but maybe we'll do that in the next segment.
Yeah, we'll do that one.
Okay, so we're done with Trump. Stay positive and keep your mind in a place that this is your life. You made a really good point. This is your life. You have a right to be happy, and no matter who's leading whatever, this is your life. And I think if everybody took that approach and didn't come from the perspective that they're a victim, things would be really different.
I think that's exactly, we need to see our power, not in like an ego, arrogant way, but just, no, I have a right to be happy. That very fundamental, we have a divine right to be happy. And start from there.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
doesn't want to end. There.